Newsfirst, face-to-face with Jamal Ratnayaka.
A very good evening and welcome to this evening's edition of Face to Face, coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. Bringing you face to face this evening, I'm Jamal Ratnayaka for the Newsfirst team. This evening, my guest is a returning guest. He has been on Face to Face before, and he is Senthil Thondaman, Governor of the Eastern Province and also the President of the Plantation Workers Congress. A very good evening to you, Mr. Thondaman, and welcome back on the show.
Thank you, Jamal, and good evening to you.
Good evening to you as well, Mr. Thondaman. So let's get the ball rolling on a meeting that was held at the President's office day before yesterday. The President said that he has identified the Eastern Province as an important location, as a vital location for Sri Lanka's future development trajectory, economically, and also to develop tourism. And you were also seen impressing upon the other attendees at the event your opinions and also your suggestions for that particular program. And according to what the PMD said following that meeting, it said that the Eastern Province has been identified as a key player in Sri Lanka's development trajectory. We know that Surbana Jurong has been assigned the task of implementing the development program in especially Trincomalee and the Eastern Province as a whole. So can you, to give a start to our program this evening, just impress upon our viewers how that program, or rather the interview or the meeting with the President and other officials went, and what sort of aspects and matters were discussed on that day?
Under the leadership of His Excellency President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the President's Secretariat, the meeting was summoned and discussed. Actually, His Excellency the President had this vision to be implemented long back, but due to different political changes, it was not being properly implemented. If these projects were implemented 10 years back, now I don't think Sri Lanka would have never gone into a debt crisis like this. So his vision was not carried out because of different changes in the governance and you know, establishing these things doesn't happen overnight. You need at least a framework of time. So His Excellency the President's vision in developing Sri Lanka, one of the key instrumental is Eastern Province. What His Excellency mentioned that in the meeting was, and what he believes is, when there is a port, definitely the city will get developed. When there's a port, definitely it will get developed. So we have to capitalize on developing that. So for that, with Surbana Jurong as our consultancy for the Sri Lankan government, they are working out on development on tourism sector, industrial sector, as well as the town planning. Right. So they are working on all these three projects, and right now their plans are really very attractive. And I strongly believe that with His Excellency Ranil Wickremesinghe's vision, Eastern Province will be one of the key hub in bringing dollars into Sri Lanka.
Right. So let's delve deeper into that. You said that the Eastern Province is very important when it comes to tourism, and we know that there are surfers' paradise such as Arugambe, and there are other important hotspots that tourists gather often. There are also very important agricultural areas. There are important industries that are being carried out in the Eastern Province. So let's delve deeper into that matter. How does this plan envision developing tourism in the country? How does it envision uplifting agriculture and industries in the Eastern Province? I want to get your opinion, especially as the Governor of the Eastern Province, overlooking those matters currently. What can you say about that?
As there was 30 years war in the Eastern Province, the potential of Eastern Province is not explored fully. Right. So I feel that as a Governor of the Eastern Province, I've been to all parts of Sri Lanka. Right. In fact, I come from Upcountry. I used to believe that Upcountry is the beautifulest, the most scenic place in Sri Lanka. But after working in Eastern Province, I feel that Eastern Province is equally to Upcountry. So the beaches they have, the Marble Beach, the Pigeon Island, and the Pasigoda Beach, and Argambe, and all this has to be properly marketed. So we, when our tourism bureau discusses with the tourists who come to Eastern Province. People who are coming for longer days, like a week, 10 days, they only take a chance to come to Eastern Province.
Right.
Otherwise, there were tourists visiting for 3 days and 2 days, 4 days. They don't turn towards Eastern. They come down south, they go here and they go to Nigambo and places like that. They don't want to waste a longer travel. So our main thing is the distance, which we are trying to increase our connectivity with now with seaplanes and also trains, routes, rail routes and things like that, where we strongly believe that if connectivity is increased and quicker travel is being given, I believe that there will be more tourist flooding that side also, and even most of the different parts of people living in Sri Lanka still haven't visited the east completely. So we now with this Subarajang, we have planning to promote the tourism, identified sites, and when those things are being promoted, I feel that the population in Sri Lanka visiting Eastern Province alone is going to give a bigger revenue to Eastern Province, and then as usual we have our foreign travelers who are coming.
Right, so you made a very important point at the start of your remarks. You said that you're from Upcountry, and we know that as the president of the Ceylon Workers Congress, a political party that represents the plantation workers of Sri Lanka, that it's very important to ensure that their well-being is looked after, and also their livelihoods are protected and their overall quality of living is improved. However, we've seen over the years, for many decades now, there have been collective agreements between the CWC, the Lanka Jatika Estate Workers Union, the Planters Union Alliance and so on, discussing with successive governments on uplifting the lives of plantation workers in Sri Lanka. But we see very little progress in that matter. From conversations to enacting such decisions, what sort of new measures and progress has been made to ensure that these people, the plantation workers, are paid a fair wage, they are given proper conditions to live in, their children are able to follow proper education and so on? What is the CWC's role in that?
First, now a plantation worker, you will have to compare his living with another plantation worker in India, or Africa, or China, or Indonesia. So when you see that, we have another bigger hurdle which we had come across in Sri Lanka was our citizenship right.
Right, yes.
So for 30 years, we didn't have that right. So apart from we are equally treated compared with other plantation workers in other part of the world, we still were deprived with our citizenship.
Right.
So we had a lot of backloggings in Sri Lanka in this plantation communities upliftment. So we had, we strongly believe that through non-violence and through negotiations, we can achieve our goal. That's how our late leader Saumyamuthi Thondaman, our late leader Honorable Harmon Thondaman took forward the struggle to win our rights for our community. So first, being a refugee, living in a refugee status in Sri Lanka, we got to be citizen of this country. We have the same right, whatever the right anybody has in this country. That took a long years for us to concentrate. Then after that, in a short period of time, our collective agreement compared to the other agreements to the other plantation workers throughout the world. You can compare with any of the plantation worker agreement in any part of the world. We have the best agreement.
Right.
The Ceylon Workers Congress has initiated the best agreement. And second, the upliftment of the people, the wage. It's not that the Ceylon Workers Congress only decides the wage. It's also the plantation company which also contributes to the wage discussion, and with their, it's not a one-side way, it's a two-side way. If a plantation company is ready to pay 2,000 and then we go ask for 1,700, I agree that the progress what we are doing is very less. When the plantation company is not agreeing to give a good wage, on my point of view, a good wage, then struggles and protest, we are doing that and we are getting that. Till today, we are not backed out at any instances, and till today we have not taken forward any violent activities in the estates. We have always been humble and we love peace, and we just fight for a very reasonable wage. So as a trade union, Yes, we have been repeatedly fighting even the 1,000 rupees wage increase. We had to come out of the collective agreement and go to wages board, because I believe that the plantation company, every day they delay the wage discussion. Every day they make the revenue, and every day the worker loses. So, and you know, I strongly believe in discussion, but I don't believe on discussions which is never going to give a fruitful decision.
Right.
So the discussions which went on with the plantation companies didn't give me a fruitful sign.
Right.
So then, as a party, Ceylon Workers Congress, with all my colleagues, we took a call that we will step out of the collective agreement and go to wages board, because wages board, yes, you come for a discussion and finally the discussion, you settle it, it's well and good. If you have a time frame, you just can't be dragging it for years and years.
Yes.
So, and if the discussion doesn't work, finally, you know, two people come to some amount, and then they go for voting. And whatever is a very fair wage is being voted there and selected. That's how the last time we did in 2001. So now actually, you know, once in 2 years the wage increase should happen.
Yes.
But I think the same way, you know, companies are talking, and I feel that it's going to be a never-ending talk. So we decided, we had a chat with the Honorable Labour Minister. And as a union, we said that this is never ending, and once in 2 years the wage increase should be given. But it's the third year running around. In fact, we are one year late. So we have to get our wage increase, and the fair wage, which will be right now reasonable thing for, because we don't want the company also to shut down. I go ask 2,500, 3,000, and I don't want the company to shut down, because there is nobody tomorrow to give work.
Yes.
Same way, I'm only compromising on the profit of the company.
I'm not going to. At the same time, we cannot allow certain companies to enjoy massive, wealthy profits, whereas the
so we are only going
get.
to compromise on the profit of the company. We are not going to make the company go into loss, but the company must be fair enough to honor the commitment what they say. So 1,700 basic along with the budgetary allowance and the EPF and ETF is going to cross somewhere around 2,000. So we feel that's very fair enough, because you know, apart from that, people working over kilos and all that, when you put together, they might get a very good fair wage. So the Ceylon Workers Congress has proposed to the wages board that 1,700 for tea and rubber, excluding the budgetary allowance and the EPF and ETF. So I think discussions will be starting shortly. And it's a very fair wage what we have asked. So let's look positively, and we are very confident that we'll get a good wage.
So do you believe that you might be hearing some good news? The plantation workers in Sri Lanka might hear some good news this time around, this year?
Of course.
Right.
So that's why we went to the wages board.
Right. So as the governor of the Eastern Province and someone who has the ear of the president and the president of the CWC, have you discussed this with President Ranil Wickremesinghe? Have you brought this up with him?
Yes. We brought it up to HE, and HE is very positive that he said that workers must be looked after well. And he said during his period when he was first education minister very long back, the amount of schools he's come and developed in upcountry is enormous. And whatever portfolios he has had, he's always had a soft corner for the plantation community, and he's always been very helpful and supportive to the community. So we are very confident that his blessings is also there. And end of the day, and I am asking what is I'm entitled for. So I feel that any person will feel it's a very genuine request, and we are very strong that we'll get it for the workers.
Right. So moving on from the labour issue to the election matter that has been engulfing headlines in Sri Lanka. 2024, according to the constitution, we must have a presidential election, and there are many candidates popping up from here and there over recent weeks. We see certain groups forming alliances, political parties, political figures discussing with other political figures. Where does the CWC stand here? Do you stand with President Ranil Wickremesinghe should he choose to run for presidency? What sort of a political trajectory will you take in the future?
See, first, as a Sri Lankan, I want this country to win. Now, it's not the political party. The country whole has lost. So we are in a very, very, very big debt crisis. And over a night, nobody can change this debt crisis. We must understand that, building an economy takes years and years and years. Destroying an economy takes just few days. So now the economy is destroyed. And His Excellency President Ranil Wickremesinghe, I don't think anybody wanted to take a country which is in minus, not even zero, in minus. Nobody wanted to take it. But now a country is in progress. Progress in the sense the queues have been totally eradicated, and yes, the dollar rate is now getting settled, the conversions are getting balanced, and I think we are on the positive track. We can't say that we have got worsened after HE president took over the country. We can't say we have worsened anywhere. We are only going towards a growth. And economy, like what I said, doesn't happen overnight. And okay, we keep a president election coming. Right now, you have multiple political parties contesting. Everybody might give a different manifesto, saying that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to reduce the current bill, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this and all that. Yes, okay. The freedom of this country, you can talk. That's not a problem. But we all must understand, we all have to fall under the IMF guidelines. The taxation, everything, privatization, everything comes under IMF guidelines. Under IMF guidelines, whoever president comes, they cannot change any of these things till we are self-sufficient and pay our debts. So right now, whoever claims that they can do wonders, they can do that, they can do this, they can do that, they cannot do. Because we all are under a strict monitoring of IMF board. And we have to follow those regulations.
Right.
We strongly have a financial crisis in Sri Lanka. But we don't have a security threat like before we had a war and things like that. We only have a financial crisis.
Right.
This financial crisis will be monitored by IMF under their directions. So whoever comes as president has to follow this. They can't change this. So then what I feel is, right now in a very hard situation, if present President, His Excellency Ranil Wickremesinghe could bring back this country to at least stable state, still we have to bring down the cost of living and things all there. So definitely from this stage, he can go better. Rather than you go and find a person who has not done administration in a presidential level earlier, comes and takes and start learning for another 3-4 years.
Right.
We will have to
be stagnant once more.
More than stagnant, we will have to face all the learning, whatever they are learning, will be faced by us.
Passed on to the people.
Yeah, it falls on us, no? So I feel present president is doing a very good job, and I feel that he must be encouraged, so that if suppose 3 years is our target, maybe in 1.5 years we'll be out of it. So we need to encourage him in a very big way, because it's always like this. When the team loses, almost in the verge of losing, and one man puts the goal and make it draw, and then you must promote him. You can't put him out of the game and have others and play the game. That's not going to work. That's not ethically also correct, and same way that will also not give a good result. So when everybody were not in a position to do it, he took the charge of putting the penalty kick and he put it.
Right.
So and now the country is back to not as it was, but it's on the path.
Right.
So I hope that supporting His Excellency President Ranil Wickremesinghe will bring back this country quick. I know today it's difficult, but yes, with that difficulty, he is doing a great job. I hope that country will come back soon.
Right. So as a leader who represents Sri Lanka's Tamil community, you must believe that Sri Lanka has to enjoy very cordial bilateral relations with our big brother, so to speak, India. And your party and you personally have the connection with certain politicians in India, more specifically south of India. What sort of a role should India play when it comes to supporting Sri Lanka's development?
More than development, when we were in a crisis, India was the first person to come out and help us.
Right.
From Tamil Nadu, from Delhi, when you take, they gave us $4 billion.
$4.9 billion. Yes.
Yeah, as a line of credit. I don't think even to any of their states they would have given that to the Indian government.
Yes, such a big package.
So that was a very big start from India for his neighborhood policies. Same that from Tamil Nadu, we negotiated, and Ceylon Workers Congress had a couple of requests, and we wanted the support. That because we all are brothers,
yes.
Though we live in different lands, all the entire world, we all humankind.
Yes.
So with our connect, we got down around for 4 million families dry rations, 100 metric tons of medicines, 500 metric tons of milk powder,
right.
And we distributed throughout the country, as well as we got from Pondicherry government also. So the Ceylon Workers Congress, during the developments, if they are supporting or not, it's another story. But during the crisis, yes, they have been with us. So we have to thank them, and in case they need any favor, we will also have to do it to them, because that's the way a friendship builds. On development side, I always say that, anything you manufacture in Delhi or Mumbai,
right.
sending it to Tamil Nadu, your logistics is much higher. You manufacture in Sri Lanka, you give jobs to our people. From here you export to Tamil Nadu, it's cheaper. Logistic. Even your cost comes down. And to a market like Tamil Nadu and Kerala, to the amount of population, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, I think there are more than 200 million people living there.
Certainly.
And we manufacture from here and we send it to them. It will be definitely a big economic growth happening in Sri Lanka.
Right.
So we are working on it, and right now we have the Lanka IOC is working on bringing a pipeline, the fuel, which was His Excellency Ranil Wickremesinghe's idea, so that we will have a fuel security in Sri Lanka. We will never have to stand on a queue hereafter. We will always have a fuel security, and we have around 100 bunkers at Eastern Province. So we are planning we are discussing them to renovate it quick, so that they can stock the fuel and supply to the entire Sri Lanka, to different parts of Sri Lanka. And I'm also negotiating with them, which what I asked them is if they can, if now the payments what we are paying is through dollars.
Yes.
If they bring it through pipeline to Sri Lanka, can we pay through Sri Lankan currency?
Right.
So then what happens is it will still stabilize our dollars. So I'm working on that, and I'm positive that we'll get a very positive note. So first the fuel security will be sorted out. Second is the payment mode. If those two is being sorted out, I think yes, one of our major dollar exchange going out will cut down.
And Sri Lanka will be able to preserve its dollars.
That's right, yeah. Right. And then again, His Excellency President Ranil Wickremesinghe has put down a cabinet paper that value addition can be done in 3 years for mineral sands.
Right.
Because I don't think anybody will come to Sri Lanka to do that earlier according to how it was planned, because you have to do value addition.
Yes.
So to put up a value addition plant goes around $200 million, nobody will come. So His Excellency President Ranil Wickremesinghe identified it correctly and said that you can put a mineral separation plant. Then after 3 years you will have to put a value addition plant. That's very fair enough, because nobody owns the land. All these lands are under the CCD supervision. So anybody who's going to come to put $200 million, if he doesn't have a stock, his own stock, nobody will come. So end of the day, this mineral sands value might be for another 10-15 years. Technologies change, then people might not want mineral sands. When the first there was a plasma TV. Before that there was an old TV. If you want to buy that box TV, I don't think now nobody is going to buy it. Then plasma, then LCD, then LED. Now there are a lot of
UHD.
Yeah, so it changes. Now you go and say there's a plasma TV you want to buy, nobody is going to buy. Same way, till the use and the value of the mineral sands is there, people will buy. At one point when it's not there, nobody is going to buy. I believe that the mineral sands alone, mineral sands, you are not going to take only 10% of the land might contain.
Yes.
So that 10% when you filter and take it out, then again the sea water brings again another deposits
Set
of minerals and
yes.
deposits. So these things must be repeatedly extracted and sent, and this will alone support us to come out of our economic crisis at the earliest. We have it's like this, we have gold in hand and we don't have food in another hand.
Yes.
So you must know to do the financial handling, and so His Excellency the President has put on a cabinet paper through the BOI. It's come that saying that they will allow to do mineral separation, export for 3 years, and then put a plant. That's very fair enough. So now I think we have a lot of enquiries coming, but in Eastern Province, I can't expect the entire government set up to work like a private team.
Certainly.
They are used to a different culture of working, but I'm speeding them up and getting things done. So hopefully we feel that if this the fuel security and this mineral sands, these exports and all this come, I think East alone will be able to contribute 25% to the debt to recover.
Right. So, Mr. Thondaman, you seem to have a lot of confidence in the President's plan to develop Sri Lanka, to take Sri Lanka out of this rut, and also to uplift sectors that have not been looked at previously. But ultimately, should the incumbent president decide to run for presidency, the people will decide who becomes their next president. And being from the upcountry community, what sort of a sentiment do the plantation workers and people in those areas have currently? What is the pulse of the grassroots in those areas? Are they more inclined towards a certain party? Are they floating votes? Tell me.
No, actually, though the people are the final decision in voting, we as a leaders have to guide our people, because sometimes we see things which sometimes a common man will not be able to see, because we are into the administration, so we know it's how difficult to get things right. And getting things, and the IMF conditions what they put, in certain places they say that the government is putting these taxes when they talk to me, but I've clearly explained that the government is not interested to tax you. Why does the government want to tax you? Government is not interested to do that. But look at the clauses of the IMF. This is how it says. So, and we are stuck with them because we had no other option. So we are stuck with them, and they initially, I know it's going to be very difficult. That's what we are going through the phase 1. But phase 2 and phase 3 is going to be little more comfortable, and then once we're going to be back to normal, I think things will settle. But as the thing of the people of the upcountry, they always used to voting for UNP. Their more favorites have been UNP, because the Ceylon Workers Congress, after the citizenship rights what we got for them, we have been in alliance with UNP for the past, not now, at that time for the past 25-30 years continuously. So that the benefits what we had got for the people from the UNP government and with those presidents, and all being in their mind is always being very much deeply remembered. And so getting people to convince and vote to UNP is not going to be a difficult task. So, and another thing is, and when election comes, there are different types of political leaders. I worked with a lot of leaders, and now we need a political leader who will handle the international community and free us from this debt crisis. So now we don't need a political leader, who talks well, who presents him well, who, talks stuff which can't be implemented, who talks aggressive. And that now we need a political leader who is brilliant enough to bring Sri Lanka out of this situation. And that, I feel that His Excellency Ranil Wickremesinghe is a very good choice on it.
My guest tonight was Governor of the Eastern Province, Senthil Thondaman, who is also the President of the Ceylon Workers Congress. Thank you very much for joining me this evening and sharing your very candid views about all things when it comes to Sri Lanka's state of affairs. And that's the way it was on Face to Face this Monday evening. Take care and have yourselves a great night.